What it is, everybody. Broadcasting today across dimensions, across formats, using all of the latest technology. So, welcome. If this is working properly and you are watching on the YouTube channel called Lift the Veil, or the other YouTube channel called Lift the Veil, it may be confusing. So, I'm broadcasting from the same place on my old channel, where you may be seeing me for the first time in a long time, because I had started broadcasting on my old channel, which was resurrected from the dead when they started restoring channels. So I think the proper thing is to invite you to the party and have it all in one place. The only weird thing is, well, we'll see. I was getting about as many people tuned in on my channel with 15,000 subscribers as I was on my channel with 100,000 subscribers. That's just one of the oddities of YouTube's algorithm. So anyway, and the other channel is monetized, which means the algorithm might like me more. And now we are broadcasting vertically for YouTube, which I believe makes it come up in YouTube Shorts. So, hey, Kira D, I think I can't tell based on the chat where you are, but if you're on the channel with my face, my AI face, I guess we're migrating, but I'm allowed to broadcast on two at once. I asked Gemini, and he said it was legal. I didn't know it was legal. So thanks, Kira D. I've been back for about a week doing shows daily on the big channels. So you can catch up on all of those, which I recommend, by going to youtube.com/lifttheveil. That's the channel with 100,000 subs, almost. We'll see if we ever get there. We lose subscribers every day and we gain subscribers every day. So we'll see. But anyway, welcome. Hope everybody's doing well. Enough about technical stuff. Big news today. Big show today. Very exciting. Not really a slow news day. Pirate Justin, great. You tuned into the vertical shit. Great. It's a new feature on StreamYard where you can broadcast vertically and horizontally at the same time. Like I said, interdimensional. King Ravana's on the vertical stream. FOMO TV says, big show. Yeah, I try to imitate Nick Fuentes. That's where I get all my ideas for the show, by the way. We watch Nick Fuentes, and then we just regurgitate, rinse, repeat every day. Big show. Epstein files. So Epstein files got released. I was debating which title to go with, but I asked Gemini. That's my friend who I'm working with the most now, rather than ChatGPT. I asked which title would be better. I was going to go with the Marjorie Taylor Greene story. And I'll play you the clips of that. We'll play you clips from Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie today, who were the few Republicans who pressed this thing forward. It required 4. It was MTG, Massie, Nancy, Mace. Is her first name Nancy? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of Nancy Grace. Mace, and one more. Another woman, I believe. Another woman. So Massie was the only Republican male to push forward this legislation and make sure it happened. And eventually it forced Donald Trump to do a complete 180, although he's still blaming Democrats. So there are lots of stories surrounding it. Mark Epstein claims that they are currently destroying any of the files that have Republicans in them. Many Trump sycophants on Twitter are claiming that this was the plan all along. One of my favorite stories. This was the plan all along. Democrats walked into a trap. That's the story from the ones where Trump is always playing 69D chess. He really wasn't opposed the whole time to the Epstein files coming out. That was just an act to get Democrats to beg for the files to come out so that at the last minute, after fighting it the whole way, breaking up MAGA, basically, by threatening Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie, after all of that, he says, oh yeah, everybody should vote for it. And people are saying that was the plan all along. Democrats walked right into it. So believe what you want to believe. We're going to talk about it. Speaker Johnson, well, there still may be a plan for a cover-up. So that's what the title represents. There still may be a plan for a cover-up, which has been part of the problem all along. The reason Trump doesn't want the names to come out, or didn't, I think he still doesn't really, but it's politically impossible not to. The reason they don't want the names to come out, so we're going to talk about that. They say it's a national security issue and that we need to redact more than just the victims' names. So we're going to talk about that. If we have time, let me review what else we're going to get into. Thanks for joining me once again. You may be watching me vertically. You don't have to. I'm also horizontal on my channel. You may be watching me on one channel or another channel. We have to try to pick one. I don't know who's tuned in where. We have some very interesting polls out. Very interesting polls about support for Tucker Carlson amongst Republicans, and some indication that Democrats are starting to follow people like Tucker Carlson. So we have to talk about the midterms. People are very, very concerned about the midterms. Some people. There is a civil war in MAGA. It will have influence on the midterms. Is there a new coalition forming right now? Who is Marjorie Taylor Greene chasing? Is Marjorie Taylor Greene actually trying to appeal to Democrats now? Because it seems like it. And why? What will be the final coalition going into 2026? Will there be something totally new following the horseshoe theory, where people who are Israel skeptical join together from the right and the left and maybe find that they don't have as much different as they think? And people who wanted the Epstein files to come out on the right and the left. Who are you following? Who are you following? I started watching the Young Turks myself because they're talking about Israel, Epstein, and they're following the drama going on in the Republican Party, which is all very interesting to me. Anna Kasparian is kind of based. And she watches Candace Owens regularly, she says. So what is going on? Who watches Nick Fuentes? He's hated Trump for a while now, much longer than most people. So are the youth really traditional Republicans or MAGA Republicans? Or are they something different, a new species entirely? So we're going to get into all of that with this show. Thanks for joining me. I'll put in my banner and we will play our intro and then we'll get into the news. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news. I see people in the chat arguing about Nick. Well, that is the argument. So we'll be continuing to talk about that. I disagree with him fundamentally on several things. However, I'm a regular consumer of his content and have been for many years. I interviewed him on my show 6 years ago, and I posted that to my channel because I believe it was censored on YouTube after I had him on. I didn't even get that many people tuned in. In 2019, 6 years from now, actually, November 26, 2019, he still had a channel on YouTube, I believe, at the time. I see people asking what his channel is. He's still banned. Censorship still exists for certain people. Alex Jones, Nick Fuentes have done unforgivable things, apparently, and some others. Unforgivable, even in this time of free speech, which has been reinvented by Elon Musk. As mad as people might get at Elon Musk, because he loves H-1B visas, he loves foreigners, he loves foreign labor, says Americans won't work. That's what Elon Musk said the other day. He said Americans won't work, don't want to do physical labor, and don't want to train to do physical labor. Elon Musk says. People roasted him for saying that. And a lot of people hate the technocratic elite. So some of the opposition to J.D. Vance from someone like Nick is that he was pushed by Peter Thiel, who's a tech oligarch. We are ruled over by many factions. One faction is tech oligarchs who are different and have different motives than the Zionist faction, which is screaming in pain every single day right now as they lose their grip on this great country of ours. So the youth are changing. The youth is different, all of them. So we want to get in touch with the youth. Well, nobody young listens to this show, according to my demographics. But they listen to Tucker, and they listen to Nick for sure. And that's like all of them, apparently. Left, right, whatever. They don't like Israel very much. And they're probably not going to change because of facts and figures and so forth, which boomers seem to be mostly immune to. So that's part of the reality we're living in right now. So we'll talk a little bit maybe about AI today. Gonna play some speeches about the Epstein files. Marjorie Taylor Greene, everybody's asking, did Marjorie Taylor Greene call Trump a traitor who's loyal to Israel? She did, basically. So maybe I'll start with that clip. Or do you want to hear the quiet piggy clip of Donald Trump? Nettie 1025. Most people didn't see my Fuentes interview, which is why I reposted it, which still has very few views. While most people have Fuentes on and get 1 million plus views, that video still has less than 2,000 probably. And it's not trending or anything. But it's on the big channel, which you are on right now, Natty. So if you subscribe to that channel, I can tell because you're vertical right now. If you subscribe to this channel, then you can find it. I posted it last week. Donald Trump. Do I want to attack him from the left? That is the problem we could get into. He called a female journalist who might be a little who isn't skinny, I guess I'll say, no body shaming, who isn't skinny or traditionally gorgeous, a piggy while he was on the plane because she asked him about Epstein. So let's start with that. We'll start with Trump calling a reporter a piggy. You can decide if that's acceptable or not. See, this is why people voted for Trump, even though they find him, like a lot of moderates find this kind of behavior upsetting, but they still vote for Trump and they hold their nose or whatever because he's fighting back against the system. This is what people keep saying. He's our only hope. He's the only one who can fight back against the system. And I can respect that. Let's see. Should I do it this way? Will this video be big enough? You have to decide if you want to see my head more or my head less. But let me play this.
Yeah, Jennifer, go ahead. Incriminating in the file, sir. Yeah, Jennifer, go ahead. Incriminating in the file, sir. Yeah, Jennifer, go ahead.
So that was it. Quiet piggy. He said, I don't know if that's really defensible. Although I saw Tim Pool do it. I wonder if I have the clip of Tim Pool saying the economy is doing great on Fox today. We have to look at where everybody's going to land on this issue because we are divided. We are in a war right now. There is a war going on, a civil war. This channel is particularly civil, but we'll try to be as warlike as possible, taking on our enemies who may be within our ranks. I am opposed to those accounts that reflexively defend Donald Trump. I find them ridiculous. Even though he's gone back on most of the things he used to talk about, like H-1B visas, which he used to be opposed to. Soulfly. Well, see, this is what people like about Donald Trump. Soulfly says, I love it. Lying ass media, don't shed tears for them. But they were just asking about Epstein, right? What's wrong with that? Irie B303 says that is not real. I can assure you it's real. I can assure you, he really did do it. It's been widely reported on. Tim Pool made a video saying that was appropriate thing to do. I find it a little. Yes, I do have Tim Pool. Since I'm talking about it, I want to get to the Epstein news. But since I'm talking about people reflexively defending Trump, and Republicans at this point, the momentum is all on one side, I will say, which is a side that actually doesn't give a shit if we win the midterms, or we win the midterms in 2026. Most of the Groypers and sympathizers to the Groypers actually don't care if Republicans win, which is what people are trying to attack them with. Say, well, if you keep it up, you anti-Semites, if you keep it up, if you keep attacking Republicans, then we're going to lose in 2026. That's what they're all saying. And Groypers are like, fine, burn it down. If this is what we're getting, then, let them go to hell anyway. Trump and the rest of them, because they're not doing anything for us. Which actually is kind of true. What have they done since they've gotten power? Some things. Well, we'll say some positive things. We'll say that he closed the border very effectively, which is wonderful. And he showed everybody that it could have been done at any time. He's a victim of his own success in closing the border because now nobody cares about immigration. And actually, now that they've seen the way the deportations are going, which oftentimes are kind of violent and unruly, and sometimes involve actually American citizens, now that people have seen that, moderate people especially, swing voters and stuff, independents, don't exactly like the way the deportations are being carried out. Oftentimes they're just arrests without even anybody being deported. So where everybody supported Trump mostly on his immigration policy in 2024 when they voted for him, now actually people are kind of upset with him about how it's being carried out because he promised to go after the criminals and is kind of going after everybody, like people in Home Depot parking lots, gardeners, and so forth, which a lot of people actually don't like. But yeah, the closing the border, it's too bad because if we get, it's hard to tell people, hey, Democrats are going to open the border again when it's closed now and everybody's like not worried about it anymore. But anyway, here's Tim Pool saying how great Trump is and how Democrats are screwed. But in my opinion, like if it's today, if the votes are today, Democrats are going to clean up. And actually, according to polls, most young people are socialists now. Most of them, actually, which I can understand. And I've kind of explained on my show why they are. It's a very distressing time. Here's Tim Pool on Fox News.
It's sad for me because in 2020, I actually was a very big supporter of the Democratic Party. I donated the maximum to Tulsi Gabbard. She's now a Republican alongside Trump. I hear Trump talking about tariffs. I understand this. I am a business owner. I own a skateboard company. We make all of our products in America, and I know what it means for an industry to outsource those jobs. And I agree with these tariffs because it's been a godsend for the manufacturing in this country, real Americans to get work, to benefit our culture. And when I look at Democrats, what are they talking about? They've got Mamdani talking about free buses and fast.
I think he just said that tariffs have been a godsend for manufacturing in this country. And unfortunately, when you fact check that, manufacturing is down. It's been down 5 months in a row right now. And a lot of business owners blame that on tariffs. So manufacturing sector is actually down over Trump's term. It's not doing well. He promises it will do well. after the $21 trillion in investments he keeps talking about manifest themselves. But right now, they're not doing that great. And actually, they blame tariffs. And actually, the Trump administration admitted that tariffs made things more expensive. And now they're having to cancel tariffs to try to make things cheaper. So he's kind of factually wrong on that. But anyway, let's hear the argument. This is the argument why Trump and Trump is great, Republicans are great, and Democrats are screwed. Here we go.
Work to benefit our culture. And when I look at Democrats, what are they talking about? They've got Mamdani talking about free buses and faster buses. He has no authority to do that. Chuck Schumer is infighting with Democrats, but the socialists are likely going to take over that party. I don't recognize them anymore. And it's strange to me that after all of my years, I'm going to be 40 in a few months. The Republicans are the party of the working class and of the manufacturing jobs. I wish we had real political competition in this country, but we just don't.
All right, so it looks like the Republican Party may be competing against the socialists. It looks like Chuck's on his last legs. And like Gavin Newsom, of all people, is like the one semi-normal Democrat that's like keeping everything at bay. I mean, is this what we're facing?
I'm pretty confident going into these midterms now. The past couple of weeks are a little worrying with the infighting on the right with some of these foreign policy issues. But, today it seems like Trump is back on message. The infighting is sort of dying down.
What?
And when it comes to what the Republicans have to offer,
are you insane,
we have
Tim?
wasted a little time on the old Epstein debacle, but
We've
maybe
wasted
that's just political
time
strategy.
on Epstein?
I got to be honest. I look at the Democrats, and with the future of the party being AOC and Mamdani, they don't have anything tangible to offer. In fact, I'm seeing reporting now that Staten Island wants to secede from New York City because Mamdani does not have the confidence of even his own city. So I can look at Trump and I can understand tariffs. I can understand these tax policies, these dividends. They make sense. I don't see anything on the Democrat side, unfortunately.
I don't know, man. He's out of it. I don't know. I don't know what he's smoking. Manufacturing is just not doing better. So I don't know why he'd say that. Tariffs haven't made manufacturing better. Theoretically, they're supposed to make things better. Theoretically. But so far, it hasn't been the case. Donald Trump talking about all this investment, but he's lying about that, greatly exaggerating by like a factor of 20 trillion. There's maybe been a few $100 billion in investment so far because of tariffs from other countries, investment from other countries. He's claiming 21 trillion. Democrats, as far as socialists go, let me see if I have the poll so I can tell you. Here, this is the poll from Rasmussen Reports, which actually has been back when I was tracking polls to wager on elections, because I've been over the course of my betting on politics, very successful betting on politics, particularly the presidential election. Rasmussen, back in the day at least, was the most accurate. They were the only ones in 2016 that said Trump was going to win. They're a right-leaning polling organization. That guy, who I follow on Twitter, Mark Mitchell, I guess is their head pollster, he's giving Trump a lot of warnings lately. So we're going to talk about a number of his polls today. There were numbers here. The emerging political power in America, voters 18 to 39 want a Democrat socialist president in 2028. So voters 18 to 39, 51%, the majority, want a Democrat socialist president. And it's because our economy is fucked, to speak bluntly. And everybody's going to lose their job by 2028. Everyone will be unemployed. Except for, like, there will still be a few DoorDash drivers. There will still be waiters. People working at hotels. Think of a few other jobs. Welders, plumbers. But many, many people, some of whom are making a lot of money right now, will be unemployed by 2028. Probably by next year. And then people are going to be begging for anything, handouts. People who normally wouldn't beg for handouts will be. And Trump will be compliant with that begging. He likes to give people free money. He proved it during COVID with the big checks everybody got. And he's trying to give out checks. That's what Tim Pool said. Oh, yeah, it makes sense to give people checks. Yeah, sure. Make people pay more in taxes and then refund it to them. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. That's what the $2,000 checks are, which is Money Guy said isn't going to happen anyway. The $2,000 checks is from tariffs, but we paid more for stuff and we're going to get some of that money back to help us feel better, I guess. And then people can go gamble, probably, with it, buy meme coins or bet on sports, which is what our economy has turned into. Especially young people, probably, young men. So that's what will happen with that $2,000, which is money that came from us. It's not that it came from nowhere. It's not even that it came from well, in some sense, it came from corporations. But mostly, they would pass on those costs to American citizens like you and me. We pay more for things, like cars, especially. Cars are much more expensive. Ford didn't make any money because of tariffs on aluminum and stuff. But Republicans probably shouldn't assume that it's going to be easy to beat socialists. They shouldn't assume, oh, it's great Mamdani won because people are going to hate him and stuff. Because actually that's what people want. Because everything's too expensive. Because of basically the Fed and then getting off the gold standard. But the pollster also said he did a poll where he was matching up against J.D. Vance. And in that poll, Bernie Sanders was the only one who beat J.D. Vance. Bernie Sanders, who actually, as far as his left-right thing goes, a bunch of people wanted Bernie Sanders. And then when he got screwed, they switched to Trump. Really. Trump has said things before, and I took notes. Back in the 2016 election, he basically said everybody should have health care. Like, I don't think he's a very empathetic individual in a lot of ways. Like, he doesn't want to see people suffer. And he actually kind of said that he thinks everybody should have health care. Sorry, I have this comment up on my screen. Am I crazy or am I remembering the borax days? Yes, I'm having some right now in this glass. Sparkling water and borax. Pellegrino is the best. You drop it in there, it creates this whole huge like cloud of wonder and joy. It's very hard to mix borax into still water. It takes a long time to dissolve. But with bubbly water, it goes, it's like magic. Borax, yes, every day. Oh, and I forgot my methylene blue, but I also recommend that. Birdman says he's a narcissist who doesn't care if people suffer. Well, he goes both ways because he did fight very hard not to give people food stamps. He fought extra hard not to give people food stamps. But kind of the Democrats did too, to be fair. Politicians in general. But Donald Trump, no, he ends all those wars because he doesn't like to see people dying. I believe that. And the way he acted during COVID, he wanted to give out huge checks. Like when people wanted to give out $2,000, he wanted to give out $5,000. You know, he's not a small R Republican. He doesn't necessarily believe in like limited government or any of that stuff necessarily. And he wants low interest rates. You know, he just complains about that all the time. He says he's going to save people money by lowering interest rates, which just makes inflation go up more. So he's a real estate guy. But anyway, that's it about socialism. All right, we should get into Epstein probably, unless I have any more about what I've just been talking about. This is a stream of consciousness show. I want to show you I have news about Charlie Kirk too. If I was covering Charlie Kirk, that's how you really get into the algorithm. Candace Owens. My goodness, she is famous. Something with Charlie Kirk, just to give you guys an update. Egyptian planes. I don't know what's going on with it, but Egyptian planes. Oh yeah, here we go. This is emblematic of what I'm talking about, with people saying that it's all according to plan. Elon, months ago, Trump is in the Epstein files. Trump, no need to release the Epstein files. Democrat, we want the Epstein files. Democrats last week, Trump's name is in an email. He's in the file. Release the file. The email was a nothing burger for them. Trump, okay, release the files. Democrats will be in for a big surprise. And now Trump and Elon are dancing together as if that was all part of the plan from the beginning. I don't think Trump is worried. You know what? I want to distance myself from people who are calling Trump a pedophile who is involved with Jeffrey Epstein, because I did a lot of research on Epstein and the original accusations and stuff. And Trump's name doesn't come up as a perpetrator. So like everybody who's saying he's a pedo or that he sucked off Bill Clinton, that's all nonsense. It's not that. He just knew what Epstein was doing. That's all. And he maybe was at Thanksgiving dinner with him in 2017. I don't know about that. They were kind of frenemies, it seems like. And since I haven't covered it before, and I should remove it from my list of things that I have saved, Epstein was working with the Democrats to smear Trump. And that was revealed by, I believe, the Washington Post. So I'll show you that, just so you know that I understand. Epstein was kind of working with the Democrats. So I'll show you that report. One moment, please. Here it is from the Washington Post. So there was a hearing where they were attacking Donald Trump in 2019, where Epstein was talking while Michael Cohen was testifying. Jeffrey Epstein was talking with Stacey Plaskett, a black Democrat who is on this committee. Here, let's see. The Post reviewed multiple video feeds from the hearing and matched the text, which were sent in Pacific time with the video. Here, I'll remove my banner.
And while we were once driving through a struggling neighborhood
Can you read it?
in Chicago, he commented that only black people could live that way. Attorney-client privilege, yes, I will turn it over.
You, as my friend Mr. Meadows pointed out, misled this committee even today in a written submission that contradicted your testimony. You have suggested you are going to review that. Are you going to review it in our next break to correct the record, yes or no?
Yes.
Question, you helped out the president's campaign. Or were
She's
involved
texting
in the
him.
campaign
Quick, I'm
as a
up next.
representative
Is that an
spokesman, even in
acronym?
your
He's saying
words today,
Rona.
was your idea for the campaign dating back to 2011. Is that accurate? Yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Weisenberg and other individuals, Ms. Rona. Who are those individuals? Are they with the Trump organization?
They
And
are.
are there other people that we should be meeting with?
So Alan Weisselberg is the chief financial officer.
Uh-huh.
of the
You got to
Trump
quickly give us
organization.
as many names as you can so we can get to them.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Ms. Rona, what is Ms. Rona's position?
Rona Graff is the Mr. Trump's executive assistant.
And would she be able to corroborate many of the statements that you've made here?
Yes, her office is directly next to his, and she's involved in a lot that went on.
So anyway, there you go. He was texting her about Rona, and then the representative asked about Rona. So he was working with that particular Democrat to smear Trump, talking to Michael Cohen, who hates Trump. Just want to talk about this. Art of the Personal Story says, Jizz Face has a puppy and personal trainer in prison. That's totally possible. Ghislaine Maxwell, who was talked about today in Congress, seems to have been given special treatment after her on-the-record interview about Epstein and whether there was a client list, where she totally denied that there was, and also totally denied that Trump had anything to do with it, and then seemingly was rewarded with a move to a much more comfortable facility, where this person in my chat claims she has a puppy and a personal trainer. That's possible. Some prisons aren't that bad. Apparently the one she's in is pretty nice. And people, it seems like he hasn't really discouraged talk of him commuting her sentence, which would be the end of him. I mean, really. If Trump does that, if he pardons or commutes Ghislaine Maxwell's sentence, then it's pretty much over, probably. I think it's over already. Trump is kind of a lame duck at this point. But he's trying to hold on. He's trying desperately to hold on. He wouldn't denounce Tucker and Fuentes. That says a lot. That actually says a lot. So... Be More Busker, you're on the old channel. I've been back. Check out my new channel. I guess I can broadcast on two channels at the same time for a while, but everybody might as well be together. I think that's probably better for the algorithm and everything. If there's more people on one channel, then maybe more people tune in, maybe. So everyone should migrate over, I guess, to the big channel. Even though, like I said, I don't know if it's treated worse because it's not monetized and the other channel is. So I really don't know what I'm doing, but I'm assuming it's better to get everybody on the big channel, and then it'll be easier for me to get guests when they see that I have 100,000 subscribers instead of 15,000 or whatever. But actually, that's the thing about having subscribers. So you can have a lot of them, but if you don't keep talking about the same stuff or people lose interest, then it's not like you necessarily get more people tuned in just because you have subscribers. You have to keep bringing the heat, as it were. But thank you, Be More Busker. Good to see you. All right, so that's that on Epstein. Now, let's talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene and Trump. Marjorie Taylor Greene is an interesting case study at this time. Trump attacked her, which I think was a mistake. Many people are saying that it was a mistake to attack Marjorie Taylor Greene, because actually Marjorie Taylor Greene has been relatively consistent in her views. She's a little controversial. Like she has been leaning Democrat a little bit because she wanted to negotiate over health care. and Obamacare. So that is a little different. And she's going on to liberal shows. She went to CNN to kind of cry about being targeted by Donald Trump and that her life is in danger, which Megyn Kelly has now done too. Megyn Kelly says her life is in danger. She blames Mark Levin. Marjorie Taylor Greene says her life is in danger. But to be honest, all of our lives are in danger all the time. Not me, because I'm not that popular. But people who are, Tim Pool constantly gets swatted, which is always dangerous. Nick Fuentes had someone come to his house with the intention of killing him with a gun and a crossbow. And you don't see those people complain so much about it. But many people, probably including Ben Shapiro. Everybody hates Ben Shapiro now. And he could go around crying about it, that Nick Fuentes is putting his life in danger. I think he wears a bulletproof vest and has tons of security, apparently. Which I don't envy that life. Everybody around TPUSA has to have security now. This is a crazy world we're living in now where there's this violence going on, which is a terrible thing to have happened. But anyway, this is Taylor Greene. Let's see.
The most hurtful thing he said, which is absolutely untrue, is he called me a traitor. And that is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words used that can radicalize people against me and put my life in danger.
So that's her saying that Donald Trump put her life in danger. Now he's attacked a lot of people. He said worse about other people too. So now I'll show you Marjorie Taylor Greene today saying that Trump's a traitor. Or did she? Let's see. See what you think of this. Here she is. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene.
That's what we did by fighting so hard against the most powerful people in the world, even the President of the United States, in order to make this vote happen today. I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for. And I gave him my loyalty for free. I won my first election without his endorsement, beating 8 men in a primary. And I've never owed him anything, but I fought for him for the policies and for America first. And he called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge petition. Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. A patriot is an American that serves the United States of America and Americans like the women standing behind me. And I want to tell you that this only became possible today because the American people, whom we serve as representatives here in Congress, demanded that this vote happen, and they put more pressure on every single elected politician in this city than has ever been put on them. And today you are going to see probably a unanimous vote in the House to release the Epstein files. But the real fight will happen after that.
That's true. Trump says after the Epstein files come out that nobody should really talk about it. But I have bad news for him because it's all anybody's going to talk about probably for a while. Because I've seen how the algorithm responds. I've seen people build their entire channel talking about Jeffrey Epstein every single day. because people can't get enough of, stories about child sex abuse, to be honest with you. People are very interested in that subject, even though it's kind of, but people want to hear more and more about Epstein. It's probably going to get a lot more interesting the more stuff comes out. Larry Summers already got burned. Larry Summers already got burned yesterday. He's the first victim because I guess Trump decided to release something about Larry Summers that was in the files, where he was talking to Epstein about how he could have an affair with like somebody's daughter who worked for him. And apparently maybe they were Chinese too. So he's like hidden himself in disgrace, which a lot of men will be doing after the files come out. And that's why the Republicans still want to cover it up. Let me just play again what she said about Trump.
Refusing to take my name off the discharge petition. I fought for him for the policies to be free. I won my first election without his endorsement, beating 8 men in a primary. And I've never owed him anything, but I fought for him for the policies and for America first. And he called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge petition. Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves.
Yeah.
A patriot.
There you go. A traitor is someone who serves foreign countries and themselves. I think that's definitely a dig at Donald Trump. Because you could argue those things. And the foreign country, of course, that she's talking about is Israel, which Laura Loomer assumes is what she's talking about. MTG, when pressed on it, will say she means it could be any foreign country, but everybody knows she's talking about Israel. So anyway, she is definitely throwing shade at Trump still, because I don't blame her. Laura Loomer is enraged. She says Marjorie Taylor Greene is now blaming the Jews for President Trump calling her out. Well, why did Donald Trump want so badly to not release the files for so long, assuming he's not playing 24D chess? Oh, Dustin Miller, I just wanted to respond to this. Dustin Miller 2775, who may be a griper, you can respond to that, says we need to get the women out of government. I disagree. Actually, I disagree about a lot of that stuff. Without the Republican women that signed the petition, because it was 3 women and only one male Republican out of all the male Republicans in the House signed this Epstein petition, and every single one of them was required. 1 man and 3 women. And arguably, without those 3 women, it would have remained buried forever. So you can say what you want about getting women out of government and saying women shouldn't vote and stuff like that. And yes, women are kind of do vote way that we don't want them to quite a bit. But, women win elections. People vote for them. We can't stop them from running. It's just like telling them to stop working if they want to work. If they want to, certainly up to them. We can't do anything about it. We live in a different kind of world than we used to, and we're never going back. We're not going to get the Jews out of government, ever, and I don't recommend trying or saying that you want to. Muslims are going to be allowed in government in this country. So, but I understand that is a Groyper philosophy, which I challenged Nick on myself. So, not saying I'm not white knighting or anything, but there is value to the opposite sex. And in any case, you're not going to win elections without some women. Also, because they make up like half the country and then they make a lot of decisions. So, and men kind of do what they say also, whether you like that or not. A lot of men kind of do whatever women say. And a lot of things that men do is just to get women, basically. Like go to work every day and not play video games all the time. Or learn to play the guitar. Mostly because they want to have sex with a woman. So, thanks for that comment, though. ITI7201, what is your big channel and how is your cat? You're on it, dude. Or fella or female, whatever you are. You're on it. So just subscribe. It's only big in that I have more subscribers there. It was built up over time. But it's not big in the sense that it's super popular yet. We're working on it one day at a time, friend. D. Roby says, why do you think someone holding a dual card should be in our government? Yeah, that's problematic. I think people should have to disclose whether they're dual citizens. I think that's problematic. Dual citizenship is kind of problematic. Or at least people should know. People should know. Right now, nobody has to disclose it. So all the people that say these people are dual citizens, I believe they're guessing because people don't have to reveal whether they are or not. But I believe it's a fact that if you are Jewish, that you can become a citizen of Israel. Like you're allowed to. I don't know if you have to take a DNA test. Like I might be Jewish. That's the thing. My name may be Jewish, maybe Ashkenazi Jewish. So I may be at least Jewish on my father's side. Don't think I am for sure on my mother's side, but I might be, really. I mean, that side of the family was totally Catholic, but I have a little bit of nose. I have the high IQ, and then I have the schizophrenia gene also, which comes from that line. So it's hard to say whether I am or not. Another clip from Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let me play that. If you want to support the show, by the way, I really appreciate it. You can give me super chats on one of my channels, the other one. You can give me coffees by going to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil, and I will read your comment on the show if you leave a nice comment. You can also buy t-shirts, which are on closeout sale, like liquidation sale right now on my website, which is scrolling across the bottom of the screen on the horizontal thing and the top of the screen on the vertical, truthclothing.io. I'll take a short time to grift. These are the shirts. They're super high quality. This is from our shop, which we created. Super high quality. Everybody loves the quality, the comfort, the softness, and the durability. They're way underpriced, $10 and $5 mostly. We have these question everything shirts, which have been incredibly popular. So buy them while we still have your size in stock. $10. I mean, you can't go wrong. Most people buy multiple shirts since they're so cheap. So the intention is to sell out entirely and close the business, actually, because it was costing me more than we were making since I haven't been on the air and stuff. So get them while you can. Truthclothing.io. It's a great deal. Okay. And go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil and drop coffees. Yeah, the one and only one says DNA tests are banned in Israel. Yeah, that's what I've heard. But then they say you can take a DNA test to prove you're Jewish so you can get citizenship. What do you make a Leah, right? Yeah, they'll pay for your travel, set you up in housing, help you get a job and stuff. It's a very privileged existence. Then you can steal people's land too, which, then you can just steal other people's land for free. They have real estate seminars about how to do that. So in the West Bank. All right. Go back to the news. So Marjorie Taylor Greene declares that MAGA has been ripped apart by Epstein. So what are the reasons that MAGA has been ripped apart? Which it has. What are the reasons? Is it Israel or Epstein or H-1Bs? 600,000 Chinese students. Like, what is the biggest disappointment about Donald Trump? I think it started with Israel, but Epstein actually is maybe where it started, actually. Because that happened even earlier than bombing Iran. Epstein may have been where it all started, because universally, I mean, right, left, whatever you are, it's something like 80% of people supported releasing the Epstein files. Trump was really running uphill on that one, fighting the release. And then the Republicans that went along with it have been on the wrong side of history. So here is Marjorie Taylor Greene declaring that MAGA was ripped apart by Epstein. I'll play that.
Congresswoman Green, you raised the question of whether or not the Justice Department will actually release these files. Do you take the president at his word when he says he's going to sign this bill? And do you have confidence that these files will actually be released?
I only take people's actions seriously, no longer words.
And what do you think the president's
And I'll tell you, because I wasn't a Johnny come lately to the MAGA train. I was day one 2015, and there's a big difference in those Americans and those that decided to support President Trump later on. And I'll tell you right now, this has been one of the most destructive things to MAGA, is watching the man that we supported early on, 3 elections, for people that stood hours, slept in their cars to go to rallies, have fought for truth and transparency, and to hold what we consider a corrupt government accountable. Watching this actually turn into a fight has ripped MAGA apart. And the only thing that will speak to the powerful, courageous women behind me is when action is actually taken to release these files, and the American people won't tolerate any other bullshit. That's where we are today. Thank you.
There you go. That's true. I have to say I support Marjorie Taylor Greene. As far as getting women out of politics, I appreciate Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think she's all right, actually. I don't think she's like I've said before, I don't think she's a genius or anything like Thomas Massey is, but she at least says a lot of the right things. H-1Bs, Epstein. She's been on the right side of a lot of issues where Trump hasn't. So it has ripped apart MAGA to some extent. I saw a comment. He didn't release it for so long because they edited the files, they removed and redacted so much. So this is a thing to ask. Will the Epstein files actually be released without them tampering with them? So that's a conspiracy theory I have right in front of me. Jeffrey Epstein's brother, Mark Epstein, claims that the reason they're going to finally release the files is because they're currently in the process of scrubbing the files from all Republicans. And there are Republicans in the files. I mean, I know at least one, Governor Richardson, who went to the ranch. New Mexico? Was he governor of New Mexico? I was thinking Arizona, but he's definitely implicated. Virginia Giuffre talked about him quite a bit. He was a Republican governor. Wexner, I don't think he's a Democrat. Wexner, I mean, hardly anybody's talking about it, but he's in there. He's accused of some heinous stuff, actually. It's going to be very difficult for a number of people. But here's Mark Epstein. This is his claim.
What I do want to talk about is I've been recently told the reason they're going to be releasing these things and the reason for the flip is that they're sanitizing these files. There's a facility in Winchester, Virginia, where they're scrubbing the files to take Republican names out of it. That's what I was told by a pretty good source. What I do want to talk about.
There you go. Sorry. Was he a Democrat devotee? I'm sorry. Was Richardson really a Democrat? Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe I could be mistaken from time to time. There are others, though. Donors. It's going to be some donors. The reason Trump fought so hard, okay, this is basically the crux of it, is that there are going to be people named who maybe didn't do anything wrong. Pretty much. Like there are going to be people named, like Trump, who maybe didn't have sex with underage women. And then there are going to be people named who did. And people aren't necessarily going to know the difference. So Trump and Republicans want to redact those names. And they consider them victims. So that's what I'm going to get into. That's why it's a national security risk, because members of government are going to be implicated. So this is it right here. Thomas Massey tweeted, "This is how Speaker Johnson plans to protect perverts who went to the rape island from embarrassment. Do not let the Senate add an amendment to avoid disclosing those rich and powerful men who have evaded justice for so many years." Is Johnson calling all victims non-credible? So here's the sign here. Dangers of the discharge petition. Dangers of the discharge petition, if not amended. This is what they've been talking about today, is that the Senate is going to amend the petition to redact the rich men who are going to be implicated in the documents. Some of whom, like Bill Gates, probably, for example. We just don't know right now whether he actually had sex with underage girls. Dershowitz was accused, for sure. Giuffre had to take it back because she was sued and she probably just couldn't prove it. So she figured she should take it back, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. Other men, there's like a hotel owner, or there are many different men just in the Virginia Giuffre documents. But this is what it says. Dangers of the discharge petition if not amended. Victim privacy does not adequately protect victims. Well, that's just not true. It says to redact the victims' names. Innocent persons risks disclosure of non-credible allegations, creating new victims. That is the reason that Trump has been fighting so hard, I believe. And that Republicans have been standing up to him because they're donors, I believe. I don't think it's just going to be Democrats. I believe there are wealthy donors with a lot of influence whose names are in the files, who are going to say they didn't do anything wrong and won't be prosecuted. Thomas Massey is saying people are going to be prosecuted. I don't think anybody's going to be prosecuted because the statute of limitations is probably run out. Most of these women are full grown now. I mean, it's been like 20 years in a lot of cases. So I don't think anybody's going to be prosecuted. I'd be really surprised. But they're going to be embarrassed. They're going to have something happen to them like happened to Larry Summers, where it's going to come out that, you know, they talked to Epstein about having sex with underage girls or something, or having affairs, or just their names are going to be in the documents. And they're going to be embarrassed that they hung out with Jeffrey Epstein after he was convicted of what he was convicted of, which Alan Dershowitz says is not pedophilia, which actually is kind of true. Which actually is kind of true, which Megyn Kelly talked about too. Jeffrey Epstein was convicted, according to Dershowitz, of having sex for money with a 17-year-old. 17 years and 10 months is what Dershowitz said. I can play that for you since I'm talking about it. I'll get there. I have too many things saved. Here, this is Dershowitz.
Well, let me give you an example. 10 minutes before you went on, the predecessor on your show described Jeffrey Epstein as a convicted pedophile. He pleaded guilty to one count of having sex for money with a 17-year and 10-month-old person. That's not pedophile. Well, let me give you.
That's true. So someone said, didn't he have sex with 10-year-olds? Yeah, though that would be more like a pedophile. But actually, I think the youngest that were mentioned in the documents was a pair of twin girls, pair of twin 12-year-olds that was mentioned in some documents with that French guy. Did the French guy kill himself? Or is he dead otherwise? The French talent manager, he was pretty disgusting. He was definitely implicated in some stuff. That black model was also kind of hanging out with Epstein. And it was her boyfriend, I think, who was accused of maybe having sex with some of these girls. Rich hotel guy. Let me talk about Massey. His speech where he basically goes after Republicans. Massey basically went on the floor today to attack Republicans, and he actually said they were on the other side of the aisle. But I kind of don't blame him. I mean, Republicans should hang their heads in shame to a certain extent. Why didn't more, if they all voted for it when it came down to it, because it passed 417 to 1, I believe I'm right. It was nearly unanimous, all because Trump gave them their blessing. But actually, a bunch of them were going to vote for it anyway, even before Trump gave the blessing. He knew he was going to lose, and he knew he was going to lose like 100 Republicans because Republicans were too scared because of their actual constituents to vote no if it actually came up for a vote. So I'm going to play you Thomas Massey attacking Republicans, basically calling them out. So I'll play you that. Let me get
Gentleman from Kentucky.
I think it's around here.
Been
I think it's here.
pornography. Of course it does. We have a specific.
Hold on. Oh, shit. I just fucked up. I think I have it saved again, fortunately. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Oh, damn. I have to find it again. I just blew it. Yeah, I'll find it. Looking. Oh, I tried so hard. There it is. Excellent. I'll do this. I'll get back to this page. It should show up right at the top. I'll do this.
Gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
Here.
Reserved.
Reserves. Gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, may I inquire as to how much time I have remaining?
Gentleman has 5.5 minutes remaining.
I yield myself 3.5 minutes.
Gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, all that is necessary for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing. And we've had a lot of good men doing a lot of nothing on the other side of the aisle until we did something. 3 brave women.
He just said on the other side of the aisle, but actually he means his side of the aisle.
And myself and the Democrat caucus. We did something. And then what did they do? They've opposed us every step of the way. They've lied about the legislation. Let me tell you some of the lies they've told. They've said that it doesn't protect victims. Well, if that is so, why were dozens of victims with us today at a press conference urging this body to pass this legislation? It's because this legislation specifically protects victims. They've said this legislation does not prevent the release of child pornography. Of course it does. We have a specific provision in our legislation to prevent that. They've said so many falsehoods about this legislation, but now they're going to vote for it, hopefully enthusiastically. But really, they've been drugged to this. Our judicial system is broken. If it were working, there wouldn't be 1,000 victims who haven't seen justice yet. They are victims of the Epstein class. I begrudge nobody success that they become a billionaire. But if you think being a billionaire or buying politicians keeps you out of the judicial system, lets you rape young women, lets you traffic women, you've got another thing coming when this bill passes. Do not let the Senate muck this up. There have already been efforts to derail this, our discharge petition. The Oversight Committee has released thousands, tens of thousands of documents. That's fine. Keep working. How many names have you released? 0. You are still protecting, or the DOJ is protecting, pedophiles and sex traffickers. The time for that to stop is now. Now, our speaker says, oh, this bill needs amended in the Senate, and specifically, he's trying to create a loophole. He's trying to categorize the pedophiles as victims. He's saying, oh, we don't embarrass the people that went to the rape island. We should protect those names against unreliable accusations. Is he calling all of these victims unreliable? They've testified to the FBI. The FBI has these names in their possession. I asked the FBI director in a hearing, have you looked at the documents? No, he trusts everybody that's been there for decades. That is wrong. Do not let the Senate muck this bill up. And if you're a party to that in the Senate, you are part of this cover-up that we are trying to expose. I am sorry if one of your billionaire donors is going to get embarrassed because he went to Rape Island. That is what they have coming. In fact, they need to be on the other side of bars, a lot of them. Some of them will be embarrassed, but some of them need to go to prison, and the survivors know that. So how will we know if this bill has been successful? We will know when there are men, rich men in handcuffs being perp-walked to the jail. And until then, this is still a cover-up. I urge my Senate colleagues, do not muck up this bill. The president has already said he will sign it. That means he will sign the bill that we have here today. Do not change this bill. He is ready to sign it. Give it to him. Put it on his desk. Let's get justice for these victims. With that, I reserve.
There you go.
Gentleman from Kentucky.
So we have 24 Baby Bull in the chat who says 99% of the names are Democrats. I wouldn't be so certain, sir. I wouldn't be so certain of that. If that's the case, really, and they're not currently destroying all the documents with people who are related to the Republican Party who donated to the Republican Party, I would be shocked and amazed. If it's 99% Democrats, then why did the Republicans all fight it after Trump bullied them? Why did they fight so hard and long to try to not release the documents? Why did Speaker Johnson keep the House closed for like a month and a half just so that the petition couldn't be signed? If it's really only Democrats, just think about it. I wouldn't be so sure. If they really release the files, I just wouldn't be so sure. Obviously, like Steve Bannon was friends with him, apparently. He was involved with lots of different powerful people. So I would be very surprised if it's truly just Democrats or people who donated to Democrats. Reid Hoffman, yeah, he's probably going to be in there. He donated to Democrats, but I believe there are Republican donors as well. And I'm thinking of like Whitney Webb. I believe she exposed some of that stuff. I believe there are people in there in the real files, if the real files get released, if it's not being covered up, who are going to be problematic for everybody. We'll see. But think of the motivation. Why did all the Republicans fight so hard? Why did Trump fight so hard? If it's truly only going to expose Democrats, think about it. I mean, Peter Thiel was involved with Epstein. I mean, he's admitted it and apparently didn't engage in the sex part. And then there are a lot of people who apparently didn't engage in the sex part, just in the influence and money laundering part. Or the influence game part. Here's the Here is the part that's in the headline for the show today. Speaker Johnson says there are national security concerns about releasing the Epstein files, which means that'll bring down the government, which is what I kind of said all along. I actually said the Epstein files would never come out because they'll bring down the government. Which, like I said, we'll see. We'll see what really comes out. But there are definitely probably senators, congressmen, governors who are going to be implicated if the real files come out. But that's kind of what Johnson is saying. That's why they want to amend the bill.
National security concerns, okay? The discharge requires the Attorney General to release within 30 days, quote, classified information to the maximum extent possible. This ignores the principle that declassification should always rest and always has rested with the agency that originated the intelligence. Why? So that they can protect their critical sources and methods. It is incredibly dangerous to demand that officials or employees of the DOJ declassify materials that originated in other agencies and intelligence agencies. I could go on. I won't be here all. National security concerns, okay?
National security concerns. Hey. Thanks, Tomfoolery. This is the advantage of the other channel. It can get super chats. So I don't know. I'm putting the chat up on the screen so people can see. I have the amalgamated chat, if that's the right word for it. The universal chat, which comes from Twitch, vertical stream, and both horizontal streams. Thanks, Tomfoolery. $6.99 super chat says, woe to the non-super chats, for they shall live in lag everlasting, forever buffering, forever loading, forever unheard. Well, yours is not unheard, sir. Thank you. Yours is not heard. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. It'll be a long time before they allow. I have there's harmful content on this channel, according to YouTube still. Here we go. Here is an Epstein survivor kind of claiming that it's not just going to be Democrats. Okay. So here's that.
It is also not a hoax. We are here as American survivors of a man who used his wealth and power to hurt young girls and women. The world should see the files to know who Jeffrey Epstein was and how the system catered to him and failed us. Emotionally, this process has been distressing. First, the administration said it would release everything and then applauded President Trump for that. Then it fought to release nothing. Now that checks and balances of our democracy have worked and the bill is getting passed to release the files, we are hearing the administration say they intend to investigate various Democrats who were friends with Epstein. I beg you, President Trump, please stop making this political. It is not about you, President Trump. You are our president. Please start acting like it. Show some class, show some real leadership, show that you actually care about the people other than yourself. I voted for you, but your behavior on this issue has been a national embarrassment. It is time to take the honest, moral ground and support the release of these files, not to weaponize pieces of the files against random political enemies that did nothing wrong, but to understand who Epstein's friends were, who covered for him, what financial institutions allowed his trafficking to continue, who knew what he was doing, but was too much of a coward to do anything about it.
There you go. You heard the women behind her kind of all agreeing when she called out Donald Trump for making it political and saying that it was an embarrassment because of what Trump did. I'm not going to argue with that. I don't, like I said, this 2090 chess. I don't think so. I think there are good reasons that Trump didn't want it to come out. And he says when it does come out, he doesn't want anybody talking about it for a very long time. Thanks, Gloria B. 199 super chat. Appreciate that. It's been many years, Nathan. Look at that. Years. Good to see you. We are around the 10-year anniversary, in fact, of the establishment of the original Lift the Veil channel, which it looks like they took down all my videos, mostly. Looks like they pretty much took down all my videos. It says, I think when I clicked on it, it said there were like 67 videos or something. I think I did thousands over 10 years. Pretty sure. About a lot of different stuff. So they mostly scrubbed the history on this channel, which they restored. So, but in any case, there you go. That's from the victims. They actually ran a commercial during the football game last night. The Epstein victims did. So they've been very upset with Donald Trump. All right. Here's a meme. If releasing the name of pedophiles on the Epstein list threatens U.S. national security, says Jim from The Office, we are being ruled by criminals. So I looked at the comments under the Mike Johnson stuff. They said, bring it down. If releasing the names on the Epstein list is really a national security concern, let's get it over with. So here we are. So we'll see. We're going to be reporting on it quite a bit. Let me see if I'm done talking about Epstein. I think I probably am. Oh, here we go. As far as them amending it in the Senate, which Speaker Johnson was really pushing for, and obviously they even drew up printed material to say why it was so important that this bill be amended. Well, it passed 427 to 1. I said 417 to 1. 427 to 1. But the reporting is Thune says President Trump sounds ready to sign the Epstein resolution after it passed the House, so Senate will likely take it up fairly quickly. Says Speaker Johnson wants changes, but after the overwhelming House vote, those changes might not happen. He says he acknowledges the Speaker wants changes, but after a 427 to 1 vote, it's not likely that there will be changes. So it sounds like it's going to pass. And then Trump is going to sign it, apparently. So we'll see. There's still lots of tomfoolery and chicanery that can happen. They still might just be destroying stuff right now. So, all right. I think that's it on that. I wanted to talk about the Tucker Carlson. I don't have it. There was a Tucker Carlson poll, which I can report to you, which said that Republicans still support Tucker Carlson with like 20% saying they don't. It's like 62% or something who still support Tucker Carlson, according to Rasmussen. And the majority of people polled also believe that Tucker Carlson is not, or they either believe that he's not an anti-Semite or they're not sure. So the attacks on him, calling him the most dangerous anti-Semite in America, have not worked. And according to the pollster, he's also picking up Democrats and independents right now. So Tucker Carlson, the attacks against him have not worked. And I believe his audience is probably still growing. So, and he's forming a new coalition, which now includes Democrats, which I think would probably be a good thing. If you're bringing people over from the other side, Tucker Carlson he's very interesting, Tucker Carlson, but very good, very entertaining. So let me give you, oh, here we go. This is what Scott Jennings says about Trump.
Quote unquote free speech and what Tucker is doing or not? Where does Trump come down on that?
Well, there's a lot of issues you raised in the segment here. I did see the president today, actually, and we discussed the Marjorie Taylor Greene issue a little bit. You know, what happened with her is very simple. She was wanting to run statewide in Georgia. He privately and discreetly sent her a copy of a poll that he had seen, and she was way down. It was not going to work out. And ever since that moment, he did her a favor, actually, by saving her from a humiliation. But ever since that moment, she's opposed him on bombing the Houthi rebels, on bombing Iran. She's opposed him on deportation. She's gone on, TV shows and attacked him. And so because he sort of betrayed her in her mind on that political moment, I think he did her a favor. She's become an opponent on this other stuff.
She's called on him to release the Epstein files.
Okay, and they're doing it.
So bombing the Houthi rebels, which a lot of people from MAGA didn't approve of, which was basically probably done for Israel. Bombing Iran, which a lot of people didn't want him to do, which he did on behalf of Israel. So if you're getting the flavor of it, he claims he opposed her. She denies that this thing ever happened, that she wanted to run statewide. She totally denies it. So you have to wonder who to believe. Donald Trump also said Thomas Massie has an 8% chance of winning his race, which is not true at all. According to betting websites, Massie is still overwhelmingly favored to win re-election in his district. But here, listen to this.
You can't omit that because that's the reason that he's really gone, full throttle against her.
On the other issues, though, I saw his comments about Fuentes, and I mean, my reaction to it was maybe he's wanting people to see how crazy and vile this is. This is the most pro-Israel, pro-Jewish administration we've ever had, period. You cannot argue it otherwise. The president knows who our ally is. It's Israel, and the president has supported Israel, and the president is been supportive of Jewish Americans and Jewish people around the world. You cannot argue otherwise. So
He's had Nick Fuentes at Mar-a-Lago.
yeah,
for
and he
dinner.
didn't know about it. Somebody brought him to dinner, but he obviously is not.
He had the dinner.
He's
with
not
Nick
aligned.
Fuentes
But he didn't know the guy. He's not aligned with the guy.
and didn't denounce him afterwards.
This is the most pro-Israel, pro-Jewish
Kanye
administration
brought him to dinner.
ever.
Another pro-Israel.
Period. Period.
Yeah,
You know,
it doesn't. Right. I don't know that the other guest that was invited, Kanye, is much.
And
of a
Donald Trump has never done anything except support Israel and support the Jewish people, and that's his administration's
I don't
policy.
think, just to be clear, Nick Fuentes' problem is not just that he's anti-Israel. He's also a vile bigot as well. And I think that is also problematic. It's not just about that one issue.
Well, first, there you go. All right. So back to Nick Fuentes. So anyway, he is. And you can go back to my interview with Nick Fuentes when Nick Fuentes still supported Donald Trump. And I was like, why? Like, he's Jewish, you know? I told Fuentes, I was like, Donald Trump is Jewish. He loves Israel. He loves Jews. His daughter's Jewish. His grandchildren are Jewish. He's the most Jewish president ever. Why do you support him if you have such a problem with Jewish people and Israel? He was like, oh, humana. And now look where he is. But that's kind of the truth. Why do people not support Trump anymore? Well, people don't really support Israel that much. And is it going to destroy the MAGA coalition? Yes. At least the ones, they think they can cut out Fuentes. They think they can cut out the cancer, the anti-Semitic cancer, or whatever they want to call it. Say it's fringe. It's just not fringe. That's all. It's not fringe at all. People either don't believe it, like they don't believe it about Tucker. They don't believe he's anti-Semitic because he's kind of not. He has a problem with Israel. Lots of people have a problem with Israel. It's not that shocking. Like if you look at it, look what Israel does, you know? It's not that crazy. Look at what the Israeli people believe. It's not that weird. Here's another part of the poll. This is wild. This is the same pollster. It's wild how many disaffected Trump supporters' responses are people pushed out by H-1B. And here's a story from a guy who got replaced by H-1B. It's pretty sad. So we can listen to this. I have a few stories about people losing their jobs. This person says, I am at the end of my rope. I worked at this company for 25 years, won 2 internal awards for going above and beyond, and 2 external awards for architecting and leading the IT effort to build their online payment platform. We did it with a $3 million budget in a single year, went live with 0 defects, and has never misaligned a single payment. Was laid off in favor of an H-1B holder in February. I've applied at over 1,000 places roles since and have had 5 callbacks. Most resumes rejected within 48 hours with the ever-insulting auto email. I am going to likely lose my house and cannot even get hired at Home Depot. I have no reason to live at this point. I did what they told me to. Went to school in the ramp up of tech, worked my way through managing a toy store, paid off my student loans, started at the very bottom and worked my way up, earned everything the hard way. Now, Anthem, he actually worked for Anthem, you can tell. They didn't really redact it well enough. Is turning over their IT to UST, an Indian body shop, under the direction of their CTO, who was fired by Nike for taking kickbacks while outsourcing all their IT. Apparently Trump, who I lost friends over, voted for 3 times, and actually got into a fight with the Brewers to wear a Trump 47 jersey, throwing out the first pitch on the same day he was shot, tells me, essentially, I am stupid, deserve this, and probably should just die already, so his billionaire buddies can make a few extra bucks, buy another yacht or golf course, and make America great again. He has done absolutely nothing for people like me. We don't matter except at election time. I hope he ends up in prison unjustly. He can sit and rot while he thinks about who he is screwing over. Probably won't be around to see it, but I can imagine it. That's a person who needs to dial 988 because he's suicidal. And if you have suicidal thoughts, text or call the suicide helpline at 988. H-1B immigrants. Here we go. Donald Trump.
About H-1B visas, you said that there were certain talents that Americans needed to outsource to foreign workers. Could you clarify?
Until they learn that, yeah. Like, for instance, if you're going to be making chips, we don't make chips too much here anymore, but we are going to be in a period of a year. We're going to have a big portion of the chip market, but we have to train our people how to make chips because we didn't do it. We used to do it, and then foolishly we lost that business to Taiwan. Very, very foolishly, because if they had a president that thought like I did, they would not have let that happen. But it's all coming back. I think we're going to have within a few years, we're going, and not because of the CHIPS Act. The CHIPS Act was a disaster for this country. We gave away billions of dollars to other countries and other locations and companies, and all they did was rob our money. But because of tariffs, the chips are coming back. Chip makers are all coming back. And I think within a very short period of time, we're going to have maybe even the majority of the chip making in the world will be right in the United States, where it should have been all along. But because we had people that didn't believe in tariffs, they believed in them, but they didn't know how to use them. We would have had nobody leaving our country right now. And instead, you have almost 100% of the chips are made in Taiwan. It's so disgraceful. The good news is it's all coming back. Yeah, please.
There you go. So that's the word, is that we need foreigners to train our workers and how to build things we don't know how to build, apparently, which we've forgotten how to build. Just like we forgot how to go to the moon. But that's the word on the H-1Bs, is apparently we need people to come over for stuff we're not able to do. But the problem is actually like 80% of H-1Bs is for entry-level IT bullshit. And it's because they're cheaper and you can run them like slaves because they depend on their H-1B being active for them to stay in this country, which is so much better than the shithole that they came from. So it's a slavery program. Well, they'll work harder, longer, cheaper than American workers and displace us. But that's the story. AI is going to get rid of all of our jobs. The chips will probably be built by robots, mostly, just like mostly everything else. Probably mostly be made by AI. Here's John Kerry talking about AI. I'll just show you that.
Where should the U.S. be skating to on this question of energy, climate innovation? What's next, in your view?
Well, next is here, and that's AI. And AI is going to change everything, everything about everything. I mean, white-collar jobs in America will diminish before a lot of other kinds of jobs. You don't need code writers as much anymore. You got codes getting written by the other AI models. And equally importantly, AI, we're invested in a company that's going to have the ability to be able to create virtual power plants where you actually manage through software the distribution of the energy. Do that, folks, and you don't have to build the next combined cycle gas-fired power plant. Moreover, it takes 5 years right now. It's 4 to 5 years waiting period to get a combined cycle gas turbine. So if you want to build your AI center and get it up and competitive in the next year or two, which people want to do to win against China,
So you've got all those NVIDIA chips sitting around. You can't have them. 3 years are worthless, right?
there
So
you
you need the
go.
power sooner.
Absolutely. And that's what
Speed to power, as they call it.
Speed to
And
power.
renewables win on speed to power.
There you go. AI replacing jobs. It's all going to happen probably next year, if I had to guess. Gemini 3 just came out. It's apparently amazing. Apparently, it blows all the other AIs away. I'll play you a clip from Nick Fuentes that like Brylan Holohan is using, and people are trying to shut Fuentes down over. We're sharing Brylan Holohan, who's the latest like homosexual influencer, has been tasked with taking down Nick Fuentes. So here's the clip that apparently takes down Nick Fuentes. So you guys can decide. He says a lot of controversial things. But his stream, it's not as big as Candace, but it's huge. Almost 50,000 people were tuned in at once last night. That's regular for him on Rumble. And like I said, if he wasn't banned from YouTube and podcasts, he would actually have the biggest show on earth. You can prove me wrong. But
Nope,
this is what he
Mitch.
said.
I want to drink it straight from the tap. I want it raw. I don't want to wait a moment. Right when the milk is good, I want to start drinking the milk. Same thing goes with women. I don't want to turn 30 and find some 20-year-old, 29-year-old woman that I have something in common with. And it's like, hey, properly aged like wine. Women don't age like wine. They age like milk. They don't age like wine. That's not how their hormones work. That's not how they work. Yeah, I gotta find my 16-year-old wife. Probably when I turn 30 or something. Because here's the thing. I don't want to be like, let's say I get married to a 18-year-old now. 6-year age difference. When I turn 40, she's going to be 34. Ew. What if I'm 30 and she's 16? 14-year age difference. When I'm 50, she'll be 36. When I'm 40, she'll be 26. Then now we're talking here. Now we're cooking with gas. Now you can see an alternative vision for how things could be. I want a 16-year-old that's untouched, pristine, untouched, uncorrupted, innocent. That's what we all want. And all 16-year-olds want an older guy who's like capable and strong and everything to sweep them off their feet. That's what everybody wants. That's what everybody wants.
Anyway, I just don't think he's serious. That's all. But people take it seriously. They're like, "Oh my God, he wants a child bride." That's what they said about him. He wants a child bride. Hopefully, he's not serious. Like I said, he may be a homosexual. It's possible. He has interesting opinions about relationships with women, but we don't know for sure. But if you're 30, you do not want to be with a 16-year-old. They're retarded. Teenager, I mean, they're retarded. You can't, like, what are you going to do with them? But I don't know if he's ever going to have sex. He says having sex is gay. Well, he says having sex with women is gay. So, all right, should I try to take a call or something? I guess I can open up the phone. We have enough people tuned in today. People used to enjoy the phone call portion of the show. So I'm going to open up the phone. See how that goes. 650-GAY-TAXI is the number. 650-429-8294. I'll put up the number. And give me your money, please. Thanks for the super chats. Appreciate that. And let me know if I need to keep streaming on both channels. We do have more people tuned in. I did see some comments from Twitch. We're live on Twitch too, but I think we got like 5 people tuned in there. But we're live on Twitch too. We've been chased around so much, banned so many times from YouTube, but we are back. It is the new age. It is the golden age. So I'll put up the phone number. donate to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. And you can call in this phone number and we'll talk to you. 650 gay taxi is the number. I could also invite, I'll just do it. Who cares? Invite guest, copy. And one of my mods needs to pin this, please. And we'll invite people. We'll see what happens. Amy Lane says, I have 2 streams on one channel. I know, vertical and horizontal. Apparently, that's what's recommended. So here's a StreamYard link. You can join from anywhere in the world. Mods, go ahead and pin those to the top of the chat. Yeah, we have people on. Let me see how many people we have on vertical. We have a few. There's one. Lori Helmuth is on vertical. There's Blop Jones is on vertical. Felipe Garcia is on vertical. That shows up when you're watching YouTube Shorts as a live stream. So I have a view of myself with both right now. I can see myself on the vertical. I can see myself on the horizontal. So you may call in, you may join. We'll see what happens, and then I'll take a look if there's anything else we want to talk about. Oh yeah, I'll show you another thing about AI in the meantime, because we're going to talk about that a lot on this show probably.
Value and productivity kind of offer to companies that are buying all your goods and your services is to automate many human tasks, is it not?
Let me put it this way, right? I think people today are juggling many things, right? And people are overloaded. We've always had, back in the history, it could be a dishwasher coming to your home. I remember growing up, when we got our first refrigerator in the home, how much it radically changed my mom's life, right? And so you can view it as it automating some, but it freed her up to do other things, right?
Many people, many aspirational middle classes across the West are thinking, hang on a minute, it's affecting lawyers' jobs, it's affecting creative industries, it's affecting accounting jobs, it's affecting journalism too. And they're surprised by it. And they're wondering, do you know which jobs are going to be safer?
2 things. One is, first of all, look, I think with any, I said many years ago, AI is the most profound technology humanity is ever working on. And it has potential for extraordinary benefits. And we will have to work through societal disruptions. It'll end up creating new opportunities. As an example, I think anybody, just like YouTube has done, anybody will be able to create content. You could be a high school student, and a few years down, maybe envision a feature-length movie and make it, right? That's extraordinary. So it will create new opportunities. It will evolve and transition certain jobs, right? And people will need to adapt. And then there will be areas where it will impact some jobs. So as a society, I think we need to be having those conversations. And part of it is, how do you develop this technology responsibly and give society time to adapt as we absorb this technology? I think these are all very, very important and fair questions.
There you go. That's what Sundar Pichai says. They've got the best AI. Everybody says so. I think I don't know, man, what's going to happen. I'll go over this. Nobody has to call in if they don't want to. And hopefully you guys pinned the link to the StreamYard in case anyone wants to join that way. But we'll leave on that note, though. AI is going to take over every job, and people are going to be they're going to start unaliving themselves, most likely, because they won't be able to have meaningful work anymore. This is my concern about the future, is that AI will take over a bunch of jobs. Then you'll have people like that guy who got replaced by H-1B who says he's suicidal. And that's going to be like a lot of people probably. And you can give them money, you can give them universal basic income, but they still won't have any purpose in their lives. And a lot of people are saying that's going to be great, but I don't think it's going to be great. You can become a podcaster like me. But how many people are going to make money doing that? Because it's very difficult. Even if you're a super brilliant podcaster like myself, it's not easy. You can make movies, but everybody can. So people are making money right now, making stuff with AI on Instagram and stuff, funny videos. But how long will that continue to be interesting? We'll see. All right, let me check my coffees. We gave people time to call in. Thanks for the super chats today. I appreciate it. Remember to buy t-shirts, and I did not get any coffees yet today. So you can see how difficult it is. We have more people tuned in because we're across multiple platforms, but you can support the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. So I'll take a look at the numbers and see what ends up happening between the two channels, like which one gets more views. And maybe we migrate back. I don't know. Eventually, it'd be good to have everybody in the same place, I assume, one channel. Because then I think you attract more people. The more people, the more people. I think that's the way it works. So we're going to see how it goes. But the one channel is monetized and was more active in the last 5 years because it wasn't banned. How did I get the channel back? Somebody asked. I got the channel back because I got banned for talking about COVID. And that's because the government told YouTube to ban people for talking about COVID. And they felt bad and they restored my channel. So here it is. Oh, thanks, Kira D. Kira D says, I just bought a t-shirt. Thanks for the free dish shirt stuff. Thank you. That's great. That's the best way to support the show for right now, actually. That's inventory we have in stock. Yes, we're selling it for maybe less than we paid for it, but we're giving away stuff for free on the website too. Doshi stuff. Thanks, Penelope. This is, I do work hard to bring us the best. Thank you. I do stuff. I do look, I try to dig around and find you the best clips and everything. Hey, Misty, what's up? All right. So I think that's it for today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. If you want to, like I said, you can do it. The nice thing about buying me a call, or Cash App. I have Cash App at $LTV411 also. That's this one. Cash App, $LTV411. You can also donate there anytime, even when the show's not live, unlike Super Chats. Or go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. And I do have coffee. I go to coffee, I look at the news. So hopefully it was an entertaining show for everybody. Hopefully you've been educated well. And we'll be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Bitch Franklin says, can I upload my old videos? Jeep on the moon, bogus Brussels, etc. Bogus Brussels, probably not. I mean, yeah, I used to cover false flags and stuff. I'm sure that stuff is still not allowed by the rules. Jeep thing, yeah, you're allowed to talk about the fake moon landing. So if that hasn't been restored, that's a shame. So I haven't looked. Maybe more videos will be restored. I'm not sure. I gave him $1. Says, gonna buy you a coffee. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. You're the man. Appreciate it. Just a little bit. If I can make a little bit every day to pay for the coffee I get every day, I get coffee and cookies to run my engine. And coffee is $8 with tip. That's California for you. I sit outside, I look at the news, and I try to bring you good material. So if you want to support the show to be able to help me out, I appreciate it. That's very kind. But I will do it for free regardless. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate everybody. And we'll see you at the next one. All right. If you're on the other channel, just a reminder, if you're just catching the end, youtube.com/lifttheveil is the channel with the most subscribers, which we assume is the one we want to focus on. We assume. So we'll see. Unless we're going to switch everybody back to the other channel because it's monetized. We'll see. Kira D says it's best to be subscribed to both channels. I guess. I'll broadcast on both for maybe this week. Apparently, I'm allowed to. But I'd like everybody in one place so you guys can see the chat together. Makes sense. Makes sense for everybody to be on the same channel. Whichever one it is. So the other one is youtube.com/lifttheveil live. That's the other one, if you want to subscribe to it. Or if you're just addicted to giving super chats, which you can do on that channel. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming in. We have reached the end of the time. We will see you tomorrow. All right? For now, that's what it is.